Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first live video I'm doing in a series of conversations with inspiring people. Now, I frequently meet people who are doing interesting and great things, living their best life. And I also meet people who are kind of struggling to know what to do with their life. So I thought it would be helpful to chat with those who are doing something they love to do and to talk to them about what it took for them to get there. Because well, nobody's success comes overnight. It takes work. It takes overcoming obstacles and challenges. And, you know, hearing about somebody else's journey might just inspire someone else to step out and try something new. So today, for my very first conversation, I'm excited to welcome someone I just met recently and was very impressed with. Now, I love people who take action, who are organized. And I could tell right away that she is an action taker and she is organized. So let me introduce you to Leary. She is an entrepreneur, a business consultant, specializing actually in increasing profits for chiropractors. So Erica, thank you so much for being with me here today.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited, Linda, and I'm so happy I'm your first one.
Yes, I know. That's great. So share with us a little bit about what you do, first of all.
Well, what I do with the companies that I work with is, in a nutshell, I just go in and I go through basically their entire process of what it is that they do, and I look for the gaps. Where is it that we can increase the profits in their company? So anywhere from the beginning of how they're finding their people to a lot of times they don't use, I'm going to say marketing lingo, but a lot of times they don't use specific pages that are speaking directly to their clients, that kind of thing. So all the way through.
Everything from the message they're putting out to how they work with their clients and the income they're taking in. So you really look at the whole picture of a business.
Yeah. And then how, like, where do they get those? So I might restructure or, add on to, like, do they need to add profits to profits? Do they need to add products? Can they combine some, we call it bundling, to create some sort of a different product out of it? A lot of times they're not setting themselves apart in the industry. So I'll help them sort of set themselves apart, and so that they do stand out, and we call it the blue ocean, so that they create kind of their own blue ocean where they are, the one person that everybody wants to go to. I also will look at ways that they can partner with other people. A lot of times companies don't think about that, but that's a great way to add money to your company, of being able to partner with other people that either complement what you do or even do the same thing as you do. A lot of people don't think of that, but sometimes you can do it together to just work on a project or something together.
Absolutely.
To share audiences, like what we're doing. This is a great way. It's kind of shared audiences. You introduced me to yours, I introduced you to my audience, and a lot of people get nervous in the coaching space of, not having like that mindset of abundance, like, oh my God, well, I don't want my people to go to her. But the reality is we all, at least in our world, use or go to several different people. There's never just one.
Right.
So,
yeah,
I think it's at different times for different people, but I work with them on their email marketing, their text message marketing, setting up systems, if it's systems that they need, if they need to hire on new people or outsource, I'll kind of work with them and help them figure that out.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot.
I don't personally do every single one of those things. I'll just find where their gaps are, consult them on how to do it. A lot of them, I can do a lot of it, but some of it, we'll hire other people or they have it in-house.
Now, how long have you been doing this?
A long time. So there's a ton of new people out in the market now, but I got into internet marketing in 2007, believe it or not. Just sort of fell into it. I studied marketing in school and did not do anything with it. But I was on a plane and did not have a book to read. And it is the one and only time in my entire life, before then and after then, that I ever bought a book in the airport. And I I bought the 4-Hour Work Week, which people
people who
haven't read it think it's all about, drinking Mai Tais. But it's really about leverage is I would
Mm-hmm.
say, if I wanted to choose a word, I would say it's about leverage. And it just got my mind and my wheels going. So when I first started off, I did digital marketing. I had a digital marketing agency, which I actually still have. And that just blew my mind. I loved it. I loved the whole concept. And as the years went on, I realized, I love the coaching and the teaching and training side of it, and just naturally kind of moved into that.
Oh,
I geek out on the whole marketing side. I think it's fun. It's like figuring out a puzzle, whereas a lot of people, don't like the whole business side or marketing. So for
right.
me, it's fun,
Yeah.
and I like, helping people figure it out on their end. And the impact that it makes on people's lives, to me, is just amazing. Small businesses, especially, large corporations have departments and,
Yeah.
that do it. They have their own set of issues, because then they have marketing and sales, and they're not like talking to each other. But in the little smaller businesses, which is typically what I work with, they might have a department, but they don't necessarily know the whole journey of what they want their buyers journey to look like, that experience that they want everybody to have. And so for
Right.
me, it's fun to go in and help either the owners or the people that they're working with to talk
That's
about,
great.
what they want it to look like, and map it out, and then kind of make it all happen. So yeah, I mean,
So,
most people get divorced because of money. So if it's a small
right.
business, it's helping a lot.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. So, when you were growing up, what did you want to do? You said you went to school for marketing. How did you know that's what you wanted to do?
It's so funny. Everything happens like in a strange way. But when I was freshman in college, I went to a seminar, and they talked about how most CEOs of companies had studied logistics. This is back in the day now. The school that I was at did not even have a logistics major. So the only way to study logistics was to go through marketing. How I wanted to be a CEO, I have no idea. I went to this thing, and it just sounded like they were in charge of everything. And I must have thought, that must be for me.
I want to be in charge.
And so
That's
it
great.
was sort of by mistake, because the marketing I loved. I liked the logistics, and I kind of got into it for a little while, but the marketing I really, really loved, like how McDonald's makes me crave McDonald's when, I guess in my mind, I know it's not the best hamburger. Or I'm from Atlanta, Home Depot was a great company to study their whole marketing and how they did it. The marketing, I just love studying and looking at how different companies have really influenced so much how we think and what we buy and why we buy it. It's just so cool to
Right.
me.
Well, I think that's interesting, because it's something I've heard before, where people say they were going to do one thing, and then they kind of stumbled into what they are doing by accident, and it turns out to be the thing that's
Yes.
really a fit for them. That's really interesting that you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even at the time, I ended up going into logistics, because I loved the marketing, like the case study type stuff in marketing. But when I went to look for a job, it was all like advertising type stuff, which I really wasn't that into. And logistics was very cool. So I did logistics for a
Logistics.
while. I know.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
been all around.
so, well, I think I already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What is it you love about what you do? What do you love about how you help people? What it is?
So much. I love the change it, like it's. So marketing is as old as day. So if you've ever studied marketing, if you haven't, I'm not going to go into it because it's probably boring to you. But to me, it's as old as day. I mean, there are strategies that have been around since the beginning of time, but the tactics, they all change all the time. And every new one is exciting and it's fun. So for me, I love the strategy behind what companies do and how they do it. And then I love learning all of the new tactics and stuff. So for me, it's the education and the learning side of it that's so fun and exciting. And then on the flip side, to me, it's what really makes or breaks a company. And so being able to help somebody else in their business it's literally night and day. You know, it literally can take them from zero to success if they have the right messaging, market, and medium where they're doing
Right.
it.
Yeah. That's great. And so have you had to overcome any challenges as you started your business? I don't think anybody hasn't. So.
I think one of the biggest ones for me as an entrepreneur is personality, probably by nature of the beast. We are all kind of curious and excited. And I think distraction is a big thing. We call it squirrel. So
Yeah.
that would probably be one of my biggest things of like, whoa, this looks good. Oh, this looks good. I've tried to, is that too loud? I have my window.
No, you're good.
I've tried to tame the beast, for lack of a better word, but you know, it happens to the best of us.
Well, and I think more so
myself is probably my biggest obstacle. Which is probably
well, I think
everybody's.
Yeah, I think that's true for everyone. And I mean, I've certainly found that starting your own business, it forces you into personal growth. I mean, you have to learn about yourself because, well, it's not just a job, especially if you're working for yourself. You are out there selling yourself, right? I mean, you're helping companies, but you are going out there telling them how you can help them. And if you have any insecurities, if you have any doubts about your worth, your value, any of that, it's really hard to do that. You know,
so I thankfully was pretty into self-development. I am an avid reader and I love like that book. I mean, why would anybody right mind have picked up that book? I didn't even own a business. So I had never heard of it. It called to me. I don't know why. It was a bestseller. It had just come out. There wasn't even in paperback back in the day.
Yeah.
At that time. So to me, I was already into kind of self-development. I was into a lot of that, which probably helped a lot getting into it. But on the other side, I think everybody at some stage or at all stages, we go through that, you know, in our world, we call it imposter syndrome, but self-doubt or not feeling like we're enough. And I think one of the big things that we need to remind ourselves is that anytime we are growing or doing something a little bit different, it is that uncomfortable kind of feeling. Yeah. And so that's when we know, okay, we're kind of on the right track. We're moving, we're growing. You know, we need to lean into it rather than move away from it. And having, you know, people in our circle, you know, meeting people like yourself that are there to sort of support us and move us forward. It helps a lot to have that circle because family and friends, they don't get it a lot of times. If they're not entrepreneurs, they're not really the leading force.
Right. And I think, you know, a lot of times people are disappointed about that because they have expectations of receiving a certain kind of support from family or partners that they are not equipped to give. You know, and so I always tell people you don't expect that from them because they just may not be able to do it. That's why you need a community, you know, other people that you can talk this business stuff with who will understand and will help you and guide you.
I think a lot of times people try to like protect you from yourself type of thing. And so they're very negative, like, oh, don't do that. You're not going to do it or you'll fail. And I think maybe they're coming, I want to think that they're coming from a good side, like that they're trying to be helpful and telling you you're going to fail so you don't like get into it and fail, which is not helpful and it's not nice, but I think that they're coming from a good place. They just don't get it. You know, entrepreneurs are a little bit of a different breed and we can lean into a little bit more risk than the average person. And so I think they're saving themselves from the failure and the risk and the ups and the downs that most people cannot handle on a day-to-day basis.
So you said that the book, the 4-Hour Work Week, was kind of the change point for you. What were you doing before that? Before you started your own business?
You will love this, but literally, I had just moved countries. I was living in Atlanta, and I was in IT. I was a system specialist, and I wanted to learn Spanish. So I was moving to the country of Panama to learn Spanish. And my brother, I will never forget him saying, "You can't quit your job. Are you crazy? You're never gonna, in technology, you can't stop. I mean, it's like this, it changes so often." And he was like, "You can't leave your job. Are you crazy? Like you'll never be able to get back to it. And it's that side, And I was like, I'll be fine, no problem, no worries." And that was literally, I was moving countries. And so I wasn't doing anything, for lack of a better word, but I had just quit one job. I was looking for what I wanted to do here. And I had just started teaching English because I couldn't speak the language in the country. So to give myself something to do, I was teaching English, and I started the business right then and there. Like,
wow.
I had a little bit of extra time because I was teaching a lot of English. When I first came, the transportation was very scary to me. So transportation in Panama was scarier than starting my own business or anything else, to be quite honest.
Well, I love that because, what you've just shared kind of demonstrates, I think, the amount of personal growth and what it takes to be an entrepreneur, to start your own business. Just you had that idea, like, I'm going to quit my job. I want to learn Spanish. I'm going to go to Panama. I mean, many people would not understand that, but you knew that felt right to you. You got the book, and you knew you wanted to start your own business. So it's like following what feels right for you. It sounds like you do that really well.
I think better than most people probably, and it doesn't mean that everybody needs to make such an enormous leap every time they want to make a major change in their lives. I mean, like by any stretch of the imagination. But I do think it's important to listen to ourselves and where we want to be and what we want to do, and at least move ourselves in that direction, even if it just means, Googling what it is that you're interested in, or signing up for a course, or, joining a mastermind, something. Move yourself in the direction and start getting curious.
Oh, I love that. Move yourself in the direction. Because what I always say is, like, put your energy towards what you want. And it is, if it's only a small thing that you can do, you are starting to move yourself in that direction. But more than anything, I think what it shows as well is that you trust yourself, because other people will tell you, "Oh, are you crazy? You're going, you quit your job. You're going to do this." But if it really feels right to you, and then that's what you need to do, because so often we let people talk us out of things that we feel are right for us. And then we lose sight of those, and we lose ourselves in following other people's agendas, I think.
I think over the last year, a lot of people get it a lot more than ever before, honestly, because I remember one of the things when I was actually, one of the big things everybody said was, why would you leave, a job and do whatever it is that you're planning on doing that's going to make you pennies on the dollar? Why would you do that? And to me, it was, like you said, it was that personal growth. It was that experience. All of those things were so much more important to me than, that corporate making $1 bazillion. I'm sorry, I tried to turn the phone down, but it didn't work. All of them were just so much more important to me than doing that at that moment. And, you can't always do that, but you can do it at night or on the weekends, or, like I said, explore, get curious in your spare time.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Now, you said that you pull in a lot of other people, so you have to have a network of people that you work with. Sometimes that's difficult, I've noticed, for entrepreneurs, because they end up either feeling that nobody else can do it as well as them, or they won't find the right people, and so they end up trying to do everything themselves, which is impossible. So how did you come to that point, to be able to make that step and find those right people?
Well, that is all. I mean, that is definitely a long, hard process. But remember, my journey started off like almost opposite of most people's journey, because I started off reading that book and using outsourcing and leveraging to start a business. So started that way, and then, you know, consulting wise, you know, moved back into like me doing a lot of the stuff myself. So I almost did, you know, my whole life, I would say opposite of what everybody else does. But that probably helped me in my journey a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think we all kind of get to a place where we think, oh, you know, I need to be the one to do this. And at some point it's we need to realize, you know, how many lives can we touch if we get some more help? You know, put it out there. Like, I think that's the big change for a lot of people is when they make their goals or when they try to figure out their why or whatever, when they first get into forming their business, they think a lot about themselves and, you know, how it will make their life better and how it will change their life. And when you have that one big realization or shift in your thought process of it's not so much about you, it's about who you're helping and how you're helping those people. When you start to actually get to that point, then you start realizing I need more people to help me. You know, I need to be able to have other people that can do this so that I can do more of this. And so I think it's just that shift. And we do this a lot with companies as well, like in consulting. We'll go in because example in a chiropractor, they try to do a lot of the entire office work themselves, or they'll have one administrator or one office manager that's supposed to do everything for everybody. You know, not everybody can do everything for everybody. And as an owner of the company, you know, you need to realize where your strengths are and what is it you need to be guiding that forward movement or expansion, or, you know, making sure that everybody else is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like you need to be the brains of the operation rather than the operation, and moving people out of that part is a big part of what I do as a consultant, because a lot of people work, I guess, in their business instead of on their business. And the only way to really have a business is to work on your business. If you're working in your business all the time, you're like a freelancer. Or
I'm writing that down, what you said. I like it so much. You need to be the brains of the operation, not doing the operation. Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. A lot of people, you know, we talk about the 80-20 rule, and a lot of people, you know, just spend their time doing so much of all of the other things that aren't what is the big goal of their company. And if they're not doing it, nobody else is doing it, because you're the owner, you're the CEO. You know, I don't care if you're a one-man show, but you're still the CEO of that company. And if you don't have other people sort of doing those things, so, you know, even if you're a one-man show, I don't know how many small businesses, you know, will be on your thing, or people just starting off in their business. The biggest, best thing that I can suggest for you to do for yourself is right off the bat, when you start your business, you're probably doing everything. That's normal. Everybody does everything for themselves. But start writing down, what is everything? What all are you doing? And how are you doing it? You know, create little videos, little SOPs, standard operating procedures for every single thing you do. Because the minute you can start pulling some of those off your plate, the more time you have for where you need to be spending your time, whatever that is.
Oh, that is such great advice. And actually, I love that the way you started your business, like you said, is not the way most people do it. You, because you read that book, you were already thinking leverage. Who could I get to help me?
That's how I started it. It was the only thing I knew, really.
Right. That's perfect. Well, oh my gosh, the time's flying by. I've only got about 5 minutes left. But what I wanted to ask you is, so what's next for you in your business? So you're very dynamic. You jump in and just help the businesses that you help. How do you see yourself growing now?
Awesome. Yeah. So this coming year, I have a couple of things that I'd like to get into. One of them I know you're doing is summits. I'd like to do a summit by the end of next year. That's one of my goals. And also starting some group coaching next year. So those are two big things that I'm looking forward to. And so for personal growth, I have a weird one. I love learning and I'm a geek. So one of my personal growth things that I want to do is become EA. It's like a accounting, a tax type thing, which is super strange and super weird, but it just applies a lot to what I do. And I would like to learn more about it. So I figured, oh, I'll just get certified in that. So that's
what the common theme I'm hearing through what you've shared is how, you get a sense of what's right. You follow what feels right to you. You trust yourself. And then you're kind of put in the right place. The right things show up, the right course shows up, the right book shows up, the right people show up. And I think that comes, from trusting yourself and paying attention, that self-awareness to know what feels right for you.
Well, like you just said, I mean, it is sort of, this might sound a little bit woo-woo, but the options have always been around, and it's until you're ready to kind of see them. And this EA thing is one of those things. It's so funny. But I was trying to figure out accounting and taxes and all that type of stuff. Somehow never even came across the term, met somebody through the consulting side that did that. And I was like, oh, what is that, Google? And now it's like, oh, I'm totally doing that. I love it. So I'm not going to do it for a living. It's not what I want to do for a living, but it does pertain a lot to what I do with my business. So for me, it's a great kind of growth stepping stone or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Well, so if somebody wants to learn more about you and what you do, or to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
I am everywhere. The Real Erica Leary is my social stuff. And then on LinkedIn, it's just Erica Leary. My home away from home is definitely LinkedIn. So that's my favorite, but I am on all social media. So wherever you want to find me, it's Erica Leary. And I have a website, ericaleary.com.
Okay. And I'll put that down in the comments with the video so people can.
But chat me, DM me. Yeah, I'd love to hear any comments, questions. I have a book that if you're interested in a freebie book,
yes.
I'd love to send that over to you.
And what's the name of that?
45 and 45, how I can find you $45,000 in 45 minutes without spending more on advertising.
Would you send me the link to that, and then I can put that in the comments so people can go directly to it if they want to take a look at that? Oh, that sounds good. I love that. 45 and 45. Perfect. Well, thank you, Erica, for spending this time with me. I really have enjoyed hearing your story and how you got started and what you're doing. Continue doing great things and continue trusting yourself and following what feels right to you. It's wonderful.
Thank you. It was super meeting you. I appreciate it, Linda, and you have an amazing day.
All right. Thanks. You too. Bye.